You can't see it. I can see the ocean there. All right, so I'm in sunny El Salvador. I'm gonna do my stream for the first time outdoors while I'm here, and let's just go over Bitcoin, and then we'll go over TRVL, and we'll go over Quanex, and that will be the end of the stream. So let's have a look at these daily candles. I hope my computer survives because I can feel a little bit of lag. So we got a pretty bearish engulfing candle yesterday. Closed higher for an all-time high, and then quick rejection back down to the range. As a failed, looks like a failed auction. What's the volume like? It's pretty high volume sell-off. How does that look like on the weekly time frame? And the 3 daily time frame is looking pretty bearish too, and then on the weekly time frame it's looking like a classic rejection, isn't it? Like another swing failure of the previous all-time high. It's not looking good, huh? At the moment it's not looking good. Let's have a look at the monthly time frame. We're kind of there, aren't we? We're stuck a little bit. And so what happens next? Well, I still think 30,000 is 130,000 is possible, but obviously what's happened here is that you've taken the liquidity from the all-time high, failed to break out, and we've lost it for a swing failure. Just not enough market buying at the highs to push the price higher, and naturally you got a lot of selling into the highs to pull the price right back down, market selling. So this is looking pretty bearish right now, but we haven't come back to test that trend line, and we're coming back down to the value area low, so we have to see how that plays out. Let me just redo these this volume. We've washed the point of control, and that was not good. And then we're coming down to the value area low. So we're having a pretty hefty sell-off here right now, if that wasn't already obvious. And actually, look, the golden pocket lines up perfectly with the value area low. So it looks like we're coming in for some kind of back test here. The question is where exactly? Well, you have like a little AVC going on here, haven't you? So we can kind of draw that out from the all-time high. Yeah. I mean, there should be a reaction here from the value area low and the golden pocket, and it's close enough to this trend line. But the question is, do you get back above the point of control? Because you could reject there and go right back down. You know, that's always possible. So there should be a reaction here, but the question is now, because before we were looking at a bull flag which broke out, and now we're experiencing a rejection at the highs, the all-time highs, for a failed auction. And that basically means we're still range bound. Effectively, we're still range bound. We're still bound by this range. At the moment, you've got the range low here, got the range high there, and that's basically your range at the moment. And actually, arguably, you could say the range low is would probably be a bit lower to there, but for all intents and purposes, that's the range low. And now we're just coming back in search of liquidity. Let me have a look at my levels here. I have single prints, MPOX. Higher time frame levels. whatever is left. Yeah, we got some single prints slightly underneath the golden pocket, all the way down to the 786. Honestly, the 786 would be better, but not today. It would have to be like over the weekend, not to lose this trend line again, but to somehow, you know, just to kind of get really bearish here, fill these gaps, push down as hard as possible without meaningfully losing this breakout line. At the moment, the sell-off is pretty brutal, so I have to let that play out to see what happens. But ideally, we kind of, the sell-off falls flat at the lows here, and then it comes into liquidity. I'm just thinking, even though you could get a reaction from, you should get a reaction from the value area low in the golden pocket there, and the reaction could be, you know, it could be bounce up and then down. I just think further down the 786 with this kind of intersecting trend line, with the single prints being filled here, would be better. It's like a better risk to reward here. Effectively, wait for the reaction. You want to basically take it back up to the value area high or the golden pocket of the down move. Obviously, you would love to target the highs, the all-time highs again. That's always possible, but that's the trade that's on my mind at the moment. That's a 1 to 9, 1 to 10 risk to reward ratio. Just off this kind of lower level here, the 786. If there's a reaction there, that would be nice. If you see this and it starts to kind of find support there, get a little reaction, a little market structure change on the 5-minute time frame. I think the reason why I'm thinking like that is because you have some kind of ABC going on here, and it comes in nicely at the 618 of this trend-based extension. You see, there to there to there. And even though we might not get an impulsive move, you could go up to the point of control and reject. It's still a nice trade if there's a reaction in this kind of area here. So it's food for thought. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. So it looks pretty brutal, the sell-off. Let's have a look at the order flow. And see what the order flow is saying. Yeah, we're getting bearish CVD right now. You can see the highs are going lower and the CVD is going up. And it's looking pretty bearish. Big short there, huh? Look at that short. Bam. Shorts and longs. Actually, there's more longs in that candle, but still, it's pretty bearish. Yeah, actually, there's quite a lot of longs. So actually, that's really bearish because look, the CVD went up and the price, the highs went lower. And see that? That's really bearish CVD there. That's a big, there's actually more longs in that candle. You see the dominant order size, it says plus 12 million. And you see the CVD went up a lot and it made a higher high. But the price went and made a lower high. It's pretty bearish there. So probably more downside here, just looking at this. We're underneath the VWAP, underneath the daily open. It's bearish, huh? It's a bearish day. Clearly bearish. And you just have to kind of pay attention to that and not try and long when it's looking bearish. So that's kind of Bitcoin for now. I think we're range bound. Obviously, it's never pleasant to see a failed auction of sorts, but at the same time, you know, we could be forming some kind of wedge rising wedge of sorts. As long as you put in a higher low, you can go up and put in a higher high. Higher lows, higher highs. It's still bullish in a sense. Because even though... is that? Yeah. Because here you went and put in a lower low. High, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, high, high, low, low. Okay, I guess the market structure has changed. That bearish engulfing is really kind of disastrous, to be honest with you. It's quite a high volume bearish engulfing. I mean, it is possible that we go up and, you know, like, and form a topping pattern here. And it's also possible that we go up and keep on grinding up. There's lots of possibilities here. Yeah. All right. I think that's Bitcoin.